Look in my eyes, what do you see? A bunch of wrestling controversies. Yes, much like Bees to Honey or Your Dad to the Creed reunion tour, controversies and professional wrestling will always find their way towards each other. Each year seems to be more crazy than the last, and 2023 was no exception. So feel free to take out your real glass and your mustache wax. This is Extreme League Wrestling, and here are our top 10 wrestling controversies of 2023. Number 10, Matt Riddle's WWE release. Matt Riddle is an extremely talented fighter and professional wrestler, but has had a rough go of things in regards to outside the ring activities. Not only having a couple of WWE wellness violations under his belt, but making a habit of posting things on social media that are less than desirable. These include later deleted assault allegations towards JFK airport personnel, to posts he made in regards to beef he started with Goldberg and Brock Lesnar. Whether by his own doing or circumstantial, the original bro seems to be a bit of a heat magnet backstage. Of course, the formation of the TKO group didn't really help, being that Riddle was now under the same umbrella as his former boss Dana White. Now, I can't say that this was directly the cause of Matt Riddle's release, but the timing does seem a bit odd. This cycle of WWE releases was pretty similar to others that we had before, with an initial group of releases being announced at the start of the day and then others filtering in throughout the day as talent is informed. Matt Riddle's though was announced so late in the day, it was literal moments before Friday Night SmackDown went on air. This might have been a way to sweep the news under the rug, but that's just my own speculation. Lord knows the original bro is going to have a lot of smoke to get off his chest in 2024. Number 9, Warner blocks the Jay Briscoe tribute show. It should be considered a crime that the late great Jay Briscoe never got his chance to be on any type of formal AEW programming before his untimely passing at the start of this year. We all know Tony Khan and the team have the amazing ability to put on a touching tribute show, given that they were faced with something similar with the passing of Brody Lee in 2020. The Briscoes though, and mainly Jay unfortunately, were blocked by Turner execs from being on TNT or TBS. This was due to some offensive tweets the former ROH champion made nearly a decade prior. While no one is saying that the tweets are excusable, most people had moved on and forgiven Jay, and Jay had even apologized many times over in his career for his statements. Cut to earlier this year, and Warner executives were unfortunately still blocking any mention of Jay on AEW television due to the tweets. Sure, AEW had their small tributes to Jay during the broadcast, and even filmed an episode of ROH in Jay's honor to be free on YouTube later on, but the wrestling online community was none too happy and responded with great backlash and online uproar towards Warner. Not to also mention TBS was premiering a new show by Dana White, The Slap. You know, documented domestic abuser Dana White? Please know, this entire thing is not about dragging Dana White, but the word of the day, kids, is hypocrisy. Happy Black Friday, everybody! As some of you may know, over the past couple of weeks, we have been selling our own ELW hats and beanies. Well, we are happy to announce that we are expanding the ELW store to include hoodies, shirts, and even a special bucket hat. And to thank all of you for the wonderful support that you've shown us over the past year, we want to give you guys a discount. Use code THANKFUL20 to get 20% off of your ELW merch purchase. Again, that's code THANKFUL20 to get 20% off. Anyway, back to the video. Number 8, Rey Fenix wins the international title. Injuries tend to happen in professional wrestling. Much like taxes and death, they are just a fact of life. The unwritten rule in the ring is, though, unless you are physically unable to get up, you finish the match to the best of your ability. AEW Grand Slam unfortunately saw this in action as Jon Moxley was concussed during his defense of the international title against Rey Fenix. A game time decision was made for Rey to pick up the win here given Mox's injury and the fact that we just didn't know what the extent of it was. Now, here is where the controversy and the issue lies, is with referee Rick Knox. Knox, for whatever reason, whether it was miscommunication or the chaos of the match, did not count to 3 whenever Rey Fenix went to pin Jon Moxley after delivering to him a pile driver. So Rey Fenix had to go ahead and hit the pile driver again. Mind you, getting dropped on your head when you have a concussion isn't great, let alone doing it twice. Reports later stated that Rick Knox got a lot of heat for this incident, and being that it wasn't his first mistake in this regard. At the end of the day, it was a lose-lose situation for everyone involved. Everything seems to be back on track now with the international title picture, and I look forward to everyone moving past this. Number 7, Tony Khan's tweets. If we've learned anything since AEW's launch, it's that healthy competition is great for the wrestling product as a whole. Wrestlers being able to jump companies and have refreshes in their images can really lead to some exciting things in the product and whatever the hell Alexis King is. While AEW and NXT haven't gone head to head in quite some time since NXT's moved to Tuesday nights. That changed in September of this year when the biggest villain in wrestling programming bumped AEW from its usual Wednesday slot, that being Sports Ball. During this time, Tony Khan was pulling no punches on Twitter. The owner of AEW went on a bit of a Twitter spree, popping off shots against WWE, Vince, and the newly formed TKO group. Khan would even go as far as to mention that during a health scare his mother had the year prior, WWE tried to contact contracted AEW talent about re-signing with the company, including Chris Jericho. I mean, was the Twitter tirade needed? Probably not. But you can't tell me Vince wouldn't have done the same thing if social media was around in the 90s. And Lord knows this evil-looking son of a bitch has done way worse. Number 6, Cody Rhodes doesn't finish the story. Late 2022 to early 2023 was undeniably the climax of the Bloodline saga. After Sami Zayn's triumphant turn on the Bloodline and Cody Rhodes winning the Royal Rumble, it just made sense for Cody to finish his story at WrestleMania 39 and dethroning the Tribal Chief. This would then allow the members of the group to tell their own story apart from the WWE title and for Rhodes to lead the company into its next era. But sadly, this didn't happen, rubber chicken and all. While Triple H assured everyone at the Mania 39 press conference that the story wasn't quite over yet, it truly does seem like we've been twiddling our thumbs until Mania 40 to do it all over again. And sure, we've had some gems in the middle of it with the tag title match and Roman getting pinned for the first time in 3 years. But outside of those examples, Roman has mostly been absent and the trigger was pulled way too early on the Usos feud. While Reigns' 1000 plus day title reign is impressive, it's felt mostly empty this year given how white hot it was at the start. Number 5, John Cena Gaslights London for Mania. WWE sure has reminded everyone that the first word in their acronym is World in 2023, holding more international premium live events than ever before, including Backlash, Crown Jewel, and this entry's location, London, England. The British audience even got a treat in a surprise John Cena appearance. This is where the Invisible One would tease the land of tea and bruvs that a WrestleMania could be coming to the country at some point, but stated they had to be loud enough for the important people to take action. For once, this isn't Vince McMahon blowing smoke up his own ass, but the London government actually. You see, while it would be an effort, it is totally possible to do a WrestleMania within London, but like most things, it all comes down to the money! You see, WWE wants a similar deal with the governing bodies around the area like they did with Puerto Rico, to where the local government would actually pay WWE to come to put on the show within the country. But there's a giant difference between the two locations. Post-pandemic, the US territory is really trying to drive up tourism, being that it's a staple of their economy. London, though, is not in a similar position and is already a hotspot for international travel and commerce. So while John Cena did try to gaslight one of the biggest markets in the world, it truly is a case of WWE needing London more than London needs WWE. Now I wonder what the English office saying is for get f***ed, mate. Number 4, Jimmy turns on Jay. Back to the Bloodline saga we go as WWE finally pulled the trigger on one of the biggest stories it had in its back pocket, with Jimmy turning on his brother Jay and breaking up their historic tag team. While the story would be great in the right direction, it was fumbled right out of the gate. Jimmy's reasoning for the turn was fine, being that he didn't want Jay to end up like Roman, a egotistical, abusive patriarch. Which is a fine enough reason, but it comes with some all-caps major flaws. One being that Jimmy would soon return to the Bloodline after this, after he was the one who pulled the trigger on turning on Roman Reigns. 2 being that we're most likely waiting until WrestleMania 40, which is in April 2024. The turn happened on SummerSlam, August 2023. While the turn 9 months in advance can be doable, again, we reach the same problem as we've had with the Bloodline throughout the year, and that we're just twiddling our thumbs until the next Mania. While sure, Jay is being built as a main event talent on Raw, Jimmy truly just feels lost in all of this. My take was that this was a great idea at the time, but this is slowly aging like milk. If I already bought it expired from the store. Number 3, the TKO merger and layoffs. Corporate business bull finds itself in wrestling now more than ever, which can have its upsides, but sadly, a lot of downsides as well. Any company merger is going to have its downsizing, and unfortunately the TKO group is no exception. The layoffs were expected, but not at the level and the way that they were done. The day after the merger was made official, it was announced that all WWE in-office employees would be working from home so they may be delivered the news in private and to file paperwork and also severance packages. This process truly took a lot of the human element out of this workplace. These were co-workers, these were people who knew each other for years, and they didn't even get the chance to say goodbye. From new hires to long-term mainstays to WWE board members and talent even a few days later, no one was truly safe from the layoffs. Here at Extreme League Wrestling, we want to wish everyone who was affected by these layoffs, talent, office staff, and all, the best. WWE truly does have a great eye for talent and may not treat them best all the time, but any workforce would be truly happy to have any of these people. Number 2, Vince McMahon returns to WWE. My, how the mighty have fallen and also somehow gotten more mighty in the process. The wider wrestling world was able to breathe a sigh of relief in 2022, being that Vince McMahon was finally ousted from WWE following sexual misconduct and financial misconduct allegations. Blissful for a few months, we all thought the bad man was finally gone until those damn TV rights came up. Vince, still the majority shareholder for WWE, was able to strong-arm his way back into the company, stating that unless he was reinstated, he would not sign off on any new TV rights for the year of 2024. This then led to Vince McMahon selling the company, funny enough, to the UFC, creating TKO Holdings. While this was great for Vince McMahon's short-term financial health, he may have also signed away control of WWE. Being that TKO is headed by Ari Emanuel, he actually has the final say in anything WWE related, not Vince McMahon. So now, Vinnie Mac can't put all of his fingers in everybody else's pies in the company, being that Emanuel's management style is extremely hands-off. Let people do their jobs. Wow, letting trusted professionals do their jobs without micromanaging them? Wild stuff, guys. Not to also mention improper FCC filings from the TKO group, they label Vince McMahon himself as a risk to the stock price. I wonder why. The cherry on top of all this is chances are a good chunk of Vince McMahon's stock in TKO will be up for sale very soon. Congrats, Vinnie Mac, you played yourself. I mean, you played yourself and also got richer in the process. Capitalism's a bitch. And finally, our most controversial moment of 2023, CM Punk is fired from AEW. Of course it's Pepsi Phil. Who else could it be? With CM Punk's return to AEW television this summer, a lot of questions lingered amongst the All Elite roster. Was the All Out Brawl Out a one-time thing? Would the Elite and CM Punk be able to work together at some point? And what was the long-term story with Punk and MJF? Some questions would be answered, and others would quickly become a mystery after a backstage fight at AEW All In with Jack Perry, which is a situation in and of itself, but on top of all this, allegedly threatening the life of Tony Khan. A week after this incident at Wembley Stadium, Phil Brooks would be fired with cause from All Elite Wrestling. To Tony Khan's credit, being that they were literally hours away from doing a live show and pay-per-view in Punk's hometown of Chicago. TK walked out with a live mic and discussed the situation head-on before the following episode of Collision, stating that while it was a hard choice, upon outside legal counsel review, he had to take in his own safety and everyone else's safety into account. Perry, for his part in the incident, has been suspended since All In. If you want to believe rumors and dirt sheets, who have some fairly credible sources here, hell might have actually frozen over as CM Punk is within talks in WWE on a return at Survivor Series. AEW, for their part, have rebounded pretty alright after this whole incident, but with the hot WWE product, a possible Punk return, and possibly signing the hottest free agent in 2024, Will Ospreay, I dare say next year is going to be unforgettable for professional wrestling. And those are my picks for the top controversial wrestling moments of 2023. Don't forget to suplex that subscribe button, guys, because I have top 10 lists for this year coming out throughout the entire month of December. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Extreme League Wrestling, and we'll catch you next time.